TFA fam, welcome in. It is Christmas Eve, if you will, and here we are. We're back tomorrow night or tomorrow at noon. We got a full slate of games, 10 football games tomorrow afternoon, and then we get another one at night, and then 3 more on Sunday, and then another one on Monday. So we decided we would come back and do our normal game day show that we normally would do. We decided to do it today, since tomorrow is Christmas Eve. So we're doing it tonight to get you guys ready for the Week 16 action. We're going to get some dubs. We're going to move on to the fantasy championships like bosses. And then from there, we're just going to win and just making it rain for everybody for the new year. So that's what we're going to do. So let's keep it moving. Ashton, do you see Lamar to New York Giants or New York Jets as a decent possibility? No, because I don't think he leaves Baltimore.
You don't think, as his own agent, he wouldn't want to go to a bigger market?
Well, I think they would just. I think they just franchise him. I mean, and then you can't go anywhere. I mean, I just don't see Baltimore without a plan in place of another quarterback moving on from him like that. Like, I don't think it's out of the range of possibility to say that like they shouldn't, because I don't know. Like, I think he's a really fun player, and I think there's a lot of stuff that he does well, but there's also a lot of stuff he doesn't do well. But I'll also say they've never surrounded him with any weapons. Like, they've never given him, the weapons that you would normally see for a franchise type quarterback. I think they've taken him for granted with his athletic ability and him to be able to pick up yards on the ground. And so I don't think they've really ever done him right by that, because I mean, who's the best player that he's bad? Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews, I guess.
Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, Sammy. But they've just done a pretty poor job. Then they traded Marquise Brown, and like it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
didn't replace him with anybody.
No, and so I don't think he goes anywhere, honestly. But I don't know. I guess anything's possible. I mean, maybe they do something crazy. But then what does Baltimore do? They're going to have a high draft pick because they're going to make the playoffs. So it's not like they're going to have a shot unless you're going to bring in some retread quarterback.
Yeah.
And by that point, does Harbaugh leave? Does he go somewhere else? Because do you want to stick around for that?
It's all very good questions.
But so no, I mean, if he does leave, I don't know. I don't know if he. I mean, maybe he goes to the Giants. I mean, the Jets definitely need a quarterback after we've experienced once again with old Zach Wilson, which is sad because that team is so close to competing. They just really need a quarterback, and they will be very good. So,
yeah.
Bryce Young or CJ Stroud?
Two things. One, I am awful when it comes to evaluating quarterback. Like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. So let that be the first disclaimer. Like, when it comes to like all the rookie stuff we're gonna do, like I really don't spend a lot of time digging into quarterbacks. I more or less just listen to people who are way smarter than me when it comes to that. And then the biggest thing is just landing spot, right? But having said that, right now, I think I would lean CJ Stroud by a smidge. And that's also probably because I've just watched a lot more with being a Big Ten Penn State guy. I've just seen more CJ Stroud. But I think he could be a legit Ohio State NFL quarterback.
There seems to be a lot of people that aren't high on CJ Stroud, though, too. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Like, just from what I've seen, like, there's a lot of people that think that he's not very good. Like, this quarterback class, I think, can go a lot of different directions because you have Levis, who people like, and other people hate. And then you have there's going to be a lot of talk about like production with Will Levis and stuff like that. He was like the bee's knees last year, and he seems to regress a little bit this year. And then you have the Richardson kid out of Florida. That there's some buzz with him, and so I mean, there's a lot of different quarterbacks here in this class coming up. But really, I'm just really excited to really dig in to this 2023 NFL draft class because there's a lot of really good prospects in it.
Really excited.
All right, let's get down to business. GOAT manager. Are we still starting Walker over Kamara even with injury concerns?
I think unless we hear anything about like he might be limited or a pitch count, I do still lean Walker.
I do too. I guess he's expected to play. I would still go with Kenneth Walker, I think, against the Chiefs versus Alvin Kamara. I have them both close. I have Walker at 12 and Kamara at 13, so it's pretty close. Good matchup for Alvin Kamara, but he just has been so bad.
He's not been good.
And it's not necessarily him, but I mean, he only has two RB2 weeks for him all year. RB1 weeks, I mean. He's been an RB1 in two of the weeks all year.
I will say that if you're worried about Walker, I don't think like if you want to like pivot to Kamara, like I'm fine with that too because I have him close as well, Kev. So if it's not necessarily even the ankle at this point, it's the fact that he's picking up these back spasms now. So who knows if he gets hit the wrong way, twist or something, like who knows what could end up happening during the game. So I think if you're worried about that, GOAT, that you can just pivot to Kamara because he is in a fantastic spot. But
yeah, I have him really close. Good. So yeah, I mean, if you want to go Kamara, I don't hate it. I don't mind it. It's So and that game looks disgusting tomorrow for that.
Yeah.
At least the weather wise, that's like the one game tomorrow that we really aren't wanting to play.
Yeah.
It does worry me though a little bit because the Saints are going to be without Chris Olave, and I know it's not really a passing script, but neither was last night's or Thursday night's game with the Jets and the Jaguars, and they still were able to throw the ball some. You're not going to be having these quarterbacks go out there and drop back and throw these deep balls, but without Chris Olave, it just kind of hurts the overall offense because you really just don't have any threat whatsoever, and then you really can just stack the box and just say, beat me. And then they're down 2 or 3 other offensive linemen as well. So, but it is a great matchup.
Yeah.
Crab Gravy, what's up, Crab Gravy? How you doing? Wild weather here in PA, minus 24-degree wind chill right now. Yeah, that's how it's been in Kansas City the last couple of days. It's been like negative 30-degree wind chills here. Today's high was 2 degrees, so that was fun.
Crab, where in Pennsylvania are you? Curious, and I don't think we've talked about this before.
Tommy, I need a flex and a wide receiver. Pacheco, Lenny, DJ Moore, or Devonta Smith, full PPR.
Pacheco, man. Oh, flexing a wide receiver. Okay, never mind. I was thinking it was Pacheco and DJ Moore.
I am going to go with Lenny and DJ Moore.
I don't mind it. It's close for me. But I think like, and again, this isn't anything actionable. I just feel like Pacheco is due. Like we've been saying, like, hey, this is the script, this is the script, this is the script. Hasn't come to fruition. I don't know if the I'll look it up right now. I don't know if the spread has come down for Kansas City. I would take Seattle plus 10 for sure. I don't know if that has come down at all. But I do think this could be the game where like we finally see Pacheco, find the end zone, hit us with double-digit fantasy points. I do like Pacheco in this matchup.
It went down a half a point. It is 10.5 to 10 points in that game. Okay.
I would take Seattle.
Yeah, I would too. The Chiefs haven't been able to cover anything against anybody. So I don't hate that either. But Fields or Dak? I'm gonna go with Dak here.
Yeah. Dak and Pacheco. Just gonna trust a better offense. I do like Najee this week. I feel like I might have said that twice all year. But I'm gonna lean Pacheco on the second part.
I'm gonna go Najee. I like the spot for Najee. It's a good matchup. And I somewhat agree with you. Like, there's a lot of hype this week. It's kind of all come full circle now, and everybody's all over McKinnon this week. And I feel like this is like the perfect letdown spot for McKinnon to let you down a little bit. And everyone's gonna. This is like, when everybody finally gets on board, everybody goes all in, everybody's all in on somebody, and then they just let you down. This really feels like that spot for McKinnon. I still like him. There's a lot to like with him, but I feel like Pacheco, if he can score a touchdown, then he'll be good. Like he is, just because he's not involved in the passing game at all, and that's the only thing that would worry me there. So that's why I lean towards Najee, and he's just there's no concern whatsoever in terms of usage for him, and they're also at home, which is good. But at the same time, I don't think he has a high ceiling either. So, KC defense, should I pick up the Bucks? I would go Bucks.
I would go Bucks here as well.
Yeah, the Chiefs have been really good at getting sacks this year. They have been absolutely dreadful at turning the football over, and so I know at least as of last week or the week before, they still had a negative turnover differential on the year. So
wow.
It hasn't been good for them trying to turn the football over. So I would go Bucks against Trace McSorley. Tommy again, Patty Fry or Juwan Johnson. Thanks and happy holidays. Happy holidays to you there at Lambeau. I'm going to go Patty Fry.
We go Juwan Johnson. Like, I know, we were just talking about that being like the one weather game that we definitely want to avoid. I should look up what Juwan Johnson's ADOT is. I can't imagine that it's at a point where it's really going to affect him. So I still think Juwan Johnson could see at least a couple of targets. And Patty Fry did not get targeted at all last week. I think over the past 3 weeks, he's been like sub 60% snap share, which is kind of what Juwan Johnson has played all year, more or less. But the difference is we're used to seeing Patty Fry being a 70-80% snap player, and the fact that his snaps have been dropping is very odd to me. So it looks like he's like, I don't want to say he's being phased out. I really don't know what's going on with that. But
you think anything had to do with Kenny Pickett being out?
No, it's been like the past 3 weeks that his snaps have been dropping to like sub 60%. He's been like a 50% snap player the past couple weeks.
So the updated temperatures, or the updated forecast for that Saints Cleveland game, is snow pregame, temps in the teens, but those are the least of the concerns. We're talking about 25 to 30 mile an hour sustained winds, wind gusts to 40 to 50 miles an hour. Like, it is going to be very hard to throw. Now, if I was going to take somebody in a game like this, I would want like a tight end, very similar to what we saw like with the Jaguars do with Evan Ingram, right? A lot of short passes, try to get the guy in space, and your tight ends in space, your slot wide receiver, stuff like that. But there's going to be no throwing the ball down the field at all. And it's all going to be very short passes if they do throw that much at all. I think this is going to be two teams that really just want to pound the rock the entire game, and this could end up being like a 14-7 type game where you just don't see a lot of a lot of good stuff here. So that's why I just lean towards Patty Fry, and the Raiders are very bad against opposing tight ends, but I get it. Frank, DeAndre Swift or Latavius Murray? I'm going to go DeAndre Swift.
I'm going to go Swift as well.
NASCAR Fantasy Live. Start Ramondre or James Conner. I'm going Ramondre.
Mondre.
Need one running back at a flex with DJ Moore, Christian Watson, Pacheco, Moss, and Zeke. Also, Knox. Okay, so let's handle the running back at a flex first. So it's Pacheco, Moss, or Zeke. I'm going to go with Zeke. The rare
Pacheco.
Zeke call for me.
I can't. Yeah, that just
And
really,
then,
really threw me off with that one.
yeah. And then the flex, I'm going to go with DJ Moore.
It's between DJ Moore and Zeke. I'm going to go Zeke. I'm going to go Pacheco and Zeke.
And then Knox or Juwan Johnson.
Golly.
Like pick your poison of two tight ends that are in bad spots, because the Buffalo-Chicago game is
just as bad.
right up on this. Is a smorgasbord of ugly weather here, but the wind is the most impactful issue. Sustained winds around 20 miles per hour with gusts up to 35. No falling precip, but could see some blowing snow. And temps around 10 degrees with the wind chill of negative 10, as in 10 degrees below zero, and it's not quite as windy as Cleveland, but it'll struggle to move the ball through the air as well. So,
guess just give me Knox by default. Just give me the better quarterback.
Yeah, I think I would agree too. Or if there's another option that's sitting out there in waivers, maybe look to do that. But Andrea, happy holidays. Happy holidays to you, and happy holidays to everybody in the chat.
Everybody.
Hope everybody has a great Christmas this weekend. I hope everybody has a good time, eats lots of good food, watches a lot of football, wins some weeks. Crab Gravy,
Okay.
Martinsburg, PA, like 10 minutes from Holidaysburg.
Yep, Holidaysburg.
I don't know where any of that is.
Spent a lot of time on I-99 and 322 traveling up to Penn State. You go through Altoona, Toontown, little branch campus of Penn State at Altoona as well. I know where Crab Grave's at. Kind of. AP?
Hey, how's it going?
I do just want to throw a question out to the chat as well. Just to get the chat involved. Your favorite gift you got for the holidays, like your favorite all-time gift that you ever got. I would like to know from you as well, Kev. But I'd like to see the answers from the chat.
All right, let's see what the chat has, and we'll throw it out there. Hour from State College, assuming that's Penn State.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I lost the first round by 8 points, but it was good rides. Thanks, y'all, for everything you've done for me this season. Hey, bro, we're not going anywhere. Make sure you get in that. I don't know. We do the one thing that we do a really bad job about is promotion, and we don't promote anything. We don't even promote Twitters or anything. But we have the Fantasy Playoff Challenge coming. It's free, AP. So still in here. Make sure you get in on that. Easiest way to get in is going to be through Discord. Really the best.
It's going to be the
only
only
people that are going to
way
play are going to be in the Discord. Yeah, because that'll be the easiest way. Pick a winner. We already got TN, who hopefully he's doing well from his COVID battle. Hopefully he's kicking his ass. But he said he was going to donate a Amazon gift card to whoever won that. So that's a lot of fun. So it's absolutely free. There's no strings attached. Nothing. Just join our Discord. We'll drop it in a link in here. And whenever it gets to that time, we'll drop it in there and we'll get everybody signed up. And we'll have some fun. So the fantasy season's not over, AP. Just getting started. I'm in a storm. Buffalo, New York is shut down.
Yeah, man. I saw a video on Twitter of Buffalo, and it looked absolutely wild.
I have not seen that, but I did see. It was funny. It was like L.A. or something like that, and I guess it was supposed to be in the 40s or something like that, and their weather team was freaking out about it. I'm like, oh my god!
I saw that.
Up.
The one guy was like, "Are you ready for the coldest night of your life?"
I will say though, because I was stationed in Jacksonville, Florida, once I was there for like 3 years. Like once your body gets adapted to that, like when it would get like 40 or 50 degrees, it was like, oh my, it felt like it was so much
Yeah.
colder than it actually is. But yeah, so I somewhat get it, but it's still funny whenever it's, we have negative 30-degree wind chills here where I'm at. So, Crystal, I hope you're doing well. Since the Bar isn't playing this week, would you bench Mark Andrews? I have Juwan Johnson on my bench, and Mark has just been so disappointing. I don't think you can. He is still, I get it. Like, he has not been very good, and I understand why you'd want to bench him. But the thing is, with tight end position, it's so volatile. Outside of Travis Kelce, like there's not like Juwan Johnson isn't some slam dunk. Like, yes, he's played very well. He's gotten very involved in the passing game, especially once you get inside the red zone. But with Mark Andrews, like he's still seeing the volume. It's just the production hasn't been there. And this is actually a really good matchup against Atlanta. So as bad as he's been, he's still not like the production he's giving you, at least in terms of other compared to other tight ends, not named Travis Kelce. He's been pretty comparable. He just hasn't been the guy that we all thought he was going to be when people were drafting him in the second or third round of the drafts. So I would not bench Mark Andrews because he has the ceiling of being able to score 28, and I would be really upset if I had that on my bench. And you've probably been playing him all year.
Yeah. It would also be a little bit different if that New Orleans Cleveland game wasn't looking as dreadful as it is, but like because of the weather, I can't even consider it.
Yeah, I probably agree with that too. So Kevin, what's up, Kev? Wide receiver AJ Brown, Juju, and Hopkins. Running back Hilliard, Henry, Pollard, and Mixon. Tight end Waller. How are we feeling confident, or should I worry? I mean, that's pretty solid.
Hopkins obviously is the biggest question mark there. I think AJ Brown's ceiling is obviously a bit lower, but I think it's a good team.
Yeah, I think overall it's solid. I mean, AJ Brown's in a good spot even without Jalen Hurts. Gardner Minshew is more than capable. I think he's averaging. I think I saw something today that he's averaging like 17 or 18 fantasy points in his career as a quarterback. So I mean, he's been pretty good. I mean, he's been pretty good as a fantasy quarterback. So he's not in a bad spot. And then Juju's in a pretty good spot. Hopkins, I agree. Derrick Henry, what is he? 4 straight games of over 200 rushing yards against Houston on the line here in this one. I do think it's a little bit more different without Tannehill. With Malik Willis, he maybe become a little bit more one-dimensional, and maybe this team just loads the box against them. But overall, I mean, Henry's still in a great spot. Pollard is great every week. Mixon has kind of fallen off, but overall, I mean, it's still a really good team. I don't know what the other team you're playing looks like, but overall, I think that's still a pretty solid team.
Yeah.
Antonio, Christian Watson, Dobbins, or DJ Moore on a PPR. If I can only pick one, I'm going to go with J.K. Dobbins.
I think that's the way to go. DJ Moore would be second for me.
Andrea again. That's why I'm worried with McKinnon. Need to mix in J.K. Dobbins, Rashad White, and McKinnon.
I'm going Dobbins and McKinnon. I just think Seattle's offense is going to be able to do enough to where like they're not going to like bench McKinnon, right? Like I don't think KC just blows Seattle out. So I think they're going to be able to keep it a competitive enough game that McKinnon's still going to be involved. Like I don't think they're just going to like all of a sudden like go away from him, right? Mixon not in a great spot. I mean, I think Rashad White you can make a case for. But I'm gonna ride with McKinnon. And Andrea, I'm making a similar decision. I am sitting Mixon in one of my dynasty leagues and starting McKinnon. So it's not just lip service. I'm doing it.
I would go J.K. Dobbins. Ed Mixon. I agree with everything you said. I think we talked about this on Wednesday night. McKinnon is in a really, really bad spot. this week. The Patriots have been really bad against opposing running backs. It's just he's been pretty well involved in the passing game that I think it makes him viable. And this is a PPR, but so is McKinnon. Let me put it this way: I think if you want to go McKinnon over Mixon and sit Mixon, I don't hate it, but like it's super risky because I still think there's a lot of volatility to McKinnon. Game script should definitely be there. He's really kind of been their number 2 or number 3 pass catcher. I mean, he's seeing 8 or 9 targets every single game. They're doing a lot to get the ball in space. And the good news is, as well, as we were kind of worried about maybe McCole Hardman coming back, taking some touches away. It's not happening. Nope. He's not returning this week. So McCole Hardman won't be back for this game. So it'll be kind of status quo. But it's still like sitting Joe Mixon, knowing that his upside, his ceiling for Jerick McKinnon is super risky. But I think Jerick McKinnon's in a better spot. The Seattle is terrible against pass catching running backs. And J.K. Dobbins is in an excellent spot against one of the worst run defenses in the league in Atlanta. And so, like, just pure matchup wise, yeah, I think McKinnon and Dobbins are both in really good spots. So as crazy as it sounds, like I can get on board with it. Cleveland defense, KC defense, Cincinnati, or Philly. I think I like Cincinnati. I mean, Mac Jones does not look very good. I'm not playing KC. We've talked about that. And in Cleveland, here's the thing. Like, I think they're a safe defense because they're probably not going to lose you a lot of points or anything like that. So getting
because not a lot of points will be scored.
Yeah, but like the 6-7 fantasy points is probably relative range possibility, but they're probably not going to do much other than that because these teams just aren't going to throw the ball. So it's going to be super slow paced and it's going to be a grinded out type game. There's not going to be much opportunity there. So in terms of just like a ceiling play, it's Cincinnati. I'm not playing Philly against the Cowboys, and so they take them out. And so it's Cincinnati for me or Cleveland. Cleveland's a safe play. If you're like 5 or 6 points, something like 7 points, they're a good play. Cincinnati, I think, has a much higher ceiling, to be able to turn the ball over, turn Mac Jones over and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, I could also pick up Fant too. Would you play Noah Fant over the other two? Or these other options that he had? Who's that? That was Knox and Juwan Johnson. I actually think I would. The Chiefs have struggled against big body, like especially tight ends and like big body wide receivers. And so I actually don't mind that, like going Noah Fant in a matchup where they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. The game script is going to be there, better matchup. Like it's just a better spot, I think. Yeah.
This would be a slam dunk for me, NASCAR. If Fant weren't on, it looks like he's going to play and he's going to be fine. But he did. I think he had maybe 2 DNPs and then like a limited. I want to say potentially. I might be. I've been reading a lot of practice reports, so I might be wrong on that. But he's for sure questionable. But Pete Carroll said that he's likely to play. It would be Fant for sure for me without the injury concern. But I still think I would do it.
Muted. What a rookie. What is this, amateur hour? Alexis, good luck everyone in their matchups. Already got my question answered. Discord, not sponsored. #. Good for you, Alexis. This is I was wondering if anybody was going to say this. HB, N64, easy. 100%. 100%. It was the N64. Yeah. It was fantastic. And my parents waited to the last second to give it to us. So we went from that's all we asked for all Christmas. Couldn't wait to get it. We just nope, nothing. We're all just super pissed because we didn't get it. Then my grandpa shows up, comes walking upstairs, and was like, "What'd you boys get?" We're all like, got this. And he's like, "Leslie, aren't you forget something? I felt like there was something else that you got. And we're like, "What?" And we had one of those sectional couches with up against the back of the wall. And I don't know why we both thought to just get up. We looked at each other, got up, looked behind the couch, and there it was sitting back there. We're like, let's go. Like we just won the lottery. We got it. It was fantastic.
That's hilarious. Mine was not somewhat similar. Went through all of them. The last one I opened it up and it was I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was Blitz. I just opened it up and it was like the N64 game. I was just like, why do I? I hadn't gotten the N64 yet though, so I just opened it up and I was like, it's awesome.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I definitely, I'll always remember that. It was memorable. But Kenneth Lee, full PPR, Andrews or Everett? I'm gonna go Andrews.
Oh. I think there's higher upside with Andrews. But I would wait until we see for sure what this weather is going to be. It's the first time I've seen this on Roto Grinders where he's given it two colors and it's yellow/orange. And it looks like we're going to have sustained winds of 15 to 20 miles per hour and gusts of 20 to 30. So if that like upgrades at all, I think I would pivot to Everett. But if like if the winds like died down a little bit and it seems like it's not going to be that big a deal, I think just because, we have a healthy Keenan Allen, Mike Williams is healthy now, obviously Austin Eckler involved, Palmer still getting touches here and there, DeAndre Carter still getting touches here and there as well. So, if Mike Williams or one of those guys were out, I think it'd be much more clear path to targets for Everett, but that's how I would play it. I would check the weather reports before kickoff. If it seems like it's not going to be too crazy, I would go Andrews. But if it seems like it's going to be like a windier day, I would pivot to Everett.
Yeah, that makes sense. CVB, Titans or Browns defense?
I'm going to go Titans.
Yeah. I think both of them are fine, honestly. Javon or Jonathan? Is that how you said it? I didn't see the end. I wasn't used to seeing that. And then I saw the end. Oh wait, I did fuck that up. JW. Let's just do that. Let's do that. The old Cody move when he can't pronounce the name. We just go with the initials. Terry McLaurin or DJ Moore, and I apologize for butchering your name.
Moore.
I will go DJ Moore. As scary as it is, because there's a lot to be scared of with ever thinking that you can get DJ Moore right. But it is a fantastic matchup. The Lions are terrible. They just are an absolute sieve in terms of the passing game. This should be a great spot for DJ Moore.
The Lions' run defense has been legit.
Yes,
the past several weeks, and the Panthers' run game has just been abysmal the past couple weeks.
Yeah. So Jonathan, let's go more. Crystal, did you play Christian Kirk? I did play him in DFS. I actually went heavy passing game, and it was looking like it was going to be okay. The only problem is Zach Wilson was terrible and didn't do nothing for the opposing passing game at all. And so that side really didn't come through. I had the right because I had a ton of Everett Ingram and Travis Etienne, and those all worked out. I played quite a bit of Christian Kirk, and he was fine, but the Jets side did nothing. Super frustrating. CB, need 2 running backs PPR, Walker, Dobbins, Monty, and McKinnon. I am going to go with Walker and Dobbins.
Me too.
Walker or Dobbins, full PPR. Quentin, I'm going to go Walker.
I'm going to go Walker as well.
CVB, Mixon or Rashad White? I'm going to go Mixon.
I'm going to Mixon as well, but it's close. Like I just really do not like this spot for Mixon, and like really outside of a handful of games, like he hasn't been great. Looking at his game log now, he's had he's just been really inefficient. Like the volume has been there all year long, but he has had 1, 2, 3. He's had 4 games this year with a higher than 4-yard per carry average. And not that yards per carry is like a great stat or it's like very telling or sticky or anything like that. But like 4 is like kind of like the very like bottom, like the average you want to see across like most running backs. And he's had that 4 times this year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the other two with Mixon is he's not scoring touchdowns at a high rate. It's outside of the 5 touchdown game. 8 of the 12 weeks he hasn't scored, so it's been frustrating with him. Wait, did we already answer that one? Yeah, we got that. Yeah, we got that. Isaiah.
No, we didn't. He added. Nope.
Oh, no way he did because he had a Chubb.
Yeah. So now we have Chubb.
So this would be Chubb and Walker.
He slid a Chubb in there.
Yeah. So this would be Walker and Chubb.
Yeah.
Browns over Eagles. Yeah.
I still think I'd go Eagles.
Against the Cowboys?
I just feel like yeah, because I still feel like there's the ability for sacks, maybe interception or something like that. Like I just don't see the. I think the Eagles are. I mean, the Browns are certainly safer. Like if your defense like starts out with like 10 points, right, and then like you decrease depending on if the how many points the offense scores. I think the Browns are certainly safer, but I think the Eagles are probably the higher upside. No Jadeveon Clowney for the Browns.
How do we do we need on this? 1? On this?
What about it?
How many do we need?
Oh. Let's just rank them.
All right. I would go Pittman, Goodwin, Chark, and then Cooks.
Yep. With you. Samesies.
And I just dropped the Discord, by the way, in the chat. So, in case anybody was looking to join, just wanted to put that out there. Like I said, free fantasy football challenge we're going to be doing. Going to give away a gift card, Amazon gift cards. So it's free, no strings attached. So, Quentin, Taysom Hill or Juwan Johnson this week?
Taysom. I'm excited about Taysom this week.
Yeah, I could see him getting involved a little bit more, especially with all the weapons they have out. I mean, they have everybody out. It's just really him and Kamara at this point. So I could see him being more involved, especially on the ground, doing a lot of different stuff with him. So
100%.
Yeah. So I think I would go Taysom there. HB, Devonta Smith or Mike Evans? I'm going to go Mike Evans.
I'm going to go Mike.
CV, wait, we already answered that one. No, because there's Stevenson now.
He just keeps adding one running back.
CV, either you have the same team like 47 different ways, and you have a lot of all the same players, and you just or you're just fucking with us. All right, I'm not sure which one it is, CB. I guess it continues to there's one little can you spot who's missing here or who's been added? So this is going to be Walker this is going to be Stevenson and I think Chubb.
Yeah, there's no Dobbins in this one. I'm going to go Stevenson and Chubb.
Yeah, I'm going to go Stevenson and Chubb.
No, I'm sorry. Still going to be Walker and Chubb for me.
Ashton, Jackson Smith and Jigma, or Jordan Addison.
JSN for me as well.
Yeah, I'm not buying some of the hype, or not
You
not the
don't
hype,
like?
but some of the hate for
Okay,
Jackson Smith and Jigma that's gotten.
Yeah, I feel like with just the fact like we haven't seen him really this year, right? Like going into it, like people were going into this year, it's like JSN was the guy in wide receiver. Ashton, I know you're in dynasty league, so I'll just throw this one out there. I made a trade earlier this year to get Tyreek Hill in my dynasty leagues, and it's a small Devy league, and I had Keyshawn Butte and Jordan Addison on the team, and I sent the trade because I was like, man, I don't know who I want to give up. Like Addison has been balling, he has all the hype. I still like Butte, so I sent the same trade but added like one with Butte, one with Addison. And I was like, you pick. You take your pick, whoever you want. Just like I don't have to make the decision. And he took Butte, so I'm going to have Addison going into next year, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, you did well.
DJ Moore, Andrea.
I agree. Yeah, I'd be DJ Moore. Are you guys into any other sports, or is it just football? I like. I mean, I love the NBA. Love college basketball. Love the Major League or I should say, love. And I do love Major League Baseball, but I'm a White Sox fan, so it's tough. Makes you want to just kill somebody because they're things they do. But yes, and I'll also NASCAR, mainly because of DFS. DFS can make me enjoy any sport really, if I have money on it. But yeah, I am a Chiefs fan, a Miami Heat fan because we don't have an NBA team here, and I've actually been an NBA Heat fan since they had like Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway and PJ Brown and those days. And then I'm also a White Sox fan because of Frank Thomas. I'm from Kansas City, but the Royals were terrible when I was growing up, and I was I played baseball, t-ball through high school. I was a big Frank Thomas guy, and they were better than the Royals, and I just started following the White Sox. Next thing you know, I just become a White Sox fan. So, anyways, those are my teams that I follow. But yes, I'm into multiple other sports. I do play fantasy baseball too, which is fun.
Basketball and hockey for me.
Yeah, I'm not much of a hockey guy to say.
Love hockey.
Noel, still unsure about my flex for tomorrow. Options are Pacheco, Latavius Murray, or Mac if Murray sits, Ayuk, Chark, or Shaheed. We normally went Ayuk, but I'm not a huge fan of Ayuk with Purdy.
This is probably the first Rashid question we've got. I don't remember anyone else asking about him, but this is 1,000,000% Pacheco for me.
I don't know if it's a million. That's really close for me between Ayuk and Pacheco.
It's not.
I still like Ayuk. I think he's gonna be fine. I think game script has played a big role into a lot of what's happened. Now, again, they're playing Washington, and so this could go sideways really quickly for them as well. I feel like that. Who knows? I mean, we could get a Carson Wentz sighting if this does not go well for Heineke. You could see them go back to Carson Wentz, in a hurry because they're kind of on that borderline of making the playoffs now, where there's a lot of teams behind them. So I would probably go Pacheco because he's probably maybe a little bit safer. But I do think
way safer.
Would be close.
It's not close.
Baby Rock, Goddard, Andrews, or Waller?
Ooh.
I'm going to go Darren Waller.
I'm going to go Goddard. Waller would be second for me.
I would just have any concerns with him coming back from this injury. Does he play his full allotment of snaps? How involved will he be? I think he's in a good spot, but I don't know. I think with the other options you have, I really like Waller. Scored a touchdown last week. Not a bad matchup against the Steelers, so I don't mind that.
If it was just the temp, like how we thought it was going to be earlier in the week with that Steeler game, I would go Waller, but I kind of just like want to avoid that weather completely. And I feel like there wouldn't be, because we thought Goddard was going to come back last week, right? And I don't think that they'd be rushing him back. I mean, I think the Eagles need one win in their last 3 games to lock up that number 1 seed. So I really don't think that there'd be any reason for them to rush him back if he weren't ready. Hedge life.
And I guess it is worth noting that the last time that old Minshew played, Dallas Goedert went absolutely nuclear whenever he came back. I mean, he's like absolutely peppered him with targets the last time that Minshew played last year. So that is worth mentioning. So Quentin, I feel like even though Fields is going to run a lot, I feel like the Bills will smash me. I don't know how they smash because they're just not going to throw the ball. Like that's why it's like it's really hard to because like how are they smashing? Like how are they getting there? Like yeah, they may not give up a lot of points or something like that, but if Justin Fields isn't throwing and there's not a lot of turnovers, then how are they getting there? If he's going to run a lot,
fumble 6.
I mean, yeah, that's possible, but like it's just the likelihood of it happening is much lower, and so that's where I would have a problem with that, just to make that claim that they're going to smash.
Yeah.
TX drop Carlson for Dicker the kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Who to bench between Raheem, Monty, and Dion?
Dion.
I agree, especially probably with being a half-point PPR. I think the other two are probably just a little bit safer of options. CB Higgins or Mike Williams, PPR.
Ooh. Mike for me by a smidge. I think I have Mike Williams like 2 or 3 spots ahead of Higgins.
I think I would go with Mike Williams here. It's close between the two of those.
Yeah.
TX again, Stevenson or Hopkins? I'm going Stevenson.
Stevenson.
Our ma'am Tam.
Let's go.
Hope you are doing well. Merry Christmas to you as well, Tam. Full PPR, need 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, and 1 flex, and 1 ultra flex. So options are Osborne, Van Jefferson, Walker, Connor, Pollard, DPJ, not ready to play, Khalil, Yates, Pittman, and Kelsey.
Kelsey?
Absolutely.
So let's start one by one. So we need 1 RB2, going Walker.
Pollard.
1 wide receiver 2, Pittman.
Yes.
1 wide receiver / running back. So I'm sure you're going to say Walker. I'm going to say Pollard.
Yep.
And then Kelsey.
Yes.
Boom.
Larry. What's going on, Larry? Hope you're doing well. Zach Moss, Brian Robinson, Brandon Cooks, and KJ Osmond full flex, full PPR.
Ooh.
I think I'm going to go with Zach Moss here, and I hate myself for it. I love it. But the Chargers are very bad against opposing running backs. They continue to be. If they can keep it close, Nick Foles is a capable quarterback, and the Chargers tend to play down to these types of teams. And so I could see that this game stays close, and Zach Moss in a great matchup. Brian Robinson is in a terrible matchup. I don't really want to play him.
Yeah.
KJ Osborne, I know, is coming off a big performance last week, but I don't expect the same type of script that we saw before. And then you have Brandon Cooks, who I just cannot trust whatsoever. I have no idea what to expect from him at all. And so I think I would go Zach Moss. It feels gross, but I think just matchup-wise, I think it makes some sense.
Yeah.
TX again, Patty Fry or Taysom Hill. I think I'll go Taysom Hill here.
Taysom, let's go.
Quentin, hope you guys have an awesome Christmas. You as well, Quentin. I hope
Q.
everybody does. And actually, while we're here, you know, there's enough people here. Let's throw out another one. What is everybody's favorite Christmas song? What's their Christmas song? What's everybody go to? Do you anybody have a go-to Christmas song out there?
I don't have a go-to.
Or your favorite Christmas song? Is it like Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You? You know? That's probably overplayed.
Overplayed. Yeah.
But it does slap. The song slaps every single time it comes on. But I think anything TSO, I think for me, is awesome. Love Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Carol of the Bells is awesome.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'd have to look some up. I really don't know too many off the top of my head.
Maybe I should want something easier like a Christmas, whatever, which favorite Christmas movie. But you'd probably say Die Hard, which then we'd have to have a conversation that it's not a Christmas movie. Because it's not a Christmas movie. Even Bruce Willis.
Bad Santa. Bad Santa.
Bad Santa's your favorite Christmas movie? It's got to be Home Alone for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such an iconic movie. So good. I really want to go to like the filming locations up in Illinois, and check it out. It'd be cool to go see all that stuff. But I wouldn't be an asshole and try to because that the actual Home Alone house, they had to put like a gate up because people would try to like walk on their property and walk up to the door and walk around back. Like, don't be a dick. Like if you're gonna go check out something that somebody else lives there, drive by, stop for a second, look, whatever, and keep going about your business. Don't go up and try to walk in their property and everything else, all that stuff. Like that's
like
just
the Breaking Bad house.
Yeah. The lady that I think she just sits outside and yells at people because people could go by there so much.
Throwing pizzas on the roof.
Yeah. CB, 3 teams almost like CB. I mean, those are very, very similar, actually.
We already got it.
Oh yeah, we already got that.
That's an LP.
Bunch. Is Algier a trap? Yes, I would say he's probably a trap, but it's also going to depend on who you are, what other options you have. I know.
Yeah, I mean, I think he.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think he's fine as like a back end RB2, but I'm not going to be like just automatically throwing him into my lineups. It very much depends on who you have.
Yes, I would agree with that. But it is a very bad matchup against Baltimore. Baltimore has been really good against running backs this year. They're like first or second in rush DVOA. They've just done a really good job of limiting opposing running backs. And the Saints have actually low-key been a team that you've been able to run on. And so I think Algier feels very trappy, but at the same time, he's going to see the same type of volume that he saw last week, 17 carries, maybe involve a little bit in the past game. Like Algier could make a little bit of sense. But
it does help that Caleb Huntley was put on IR.
Yes, I think it narrows it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Golf for life. Feels like NWO days, like NWO back in the days for WWE, back in the Attitude Era. Monty or Kenneth Walker for a running back.
Walker.
Go Kenneth Walker, and then wide receiver Terry or D Hop.
Oh,
I think I would go DeAndre Hopkins and just hope that Trace McSorley just peppers him with targets.
Yeah.
Legendary Pest Control, KC Kings, dude from the team lived at Weatherby Lake. Listen, that was kind of before a little bit before my time. I mean, before I was actually it would have followed any of that. So there was no NBA team when I was into NBA. Okay, so I know they used to have the Kansas City Kings back in the day, and then they went to Sacramento. I would love for them now that they have. Well, I guess it was Sprint Center. I always call it Sprint Center, but T-Mobile Center that they built. I wish they would get an NBA team again. I would love to see the NBA. The closest NBA we have here is Oklahoma City, and I have no reason to cheer for that team. So, yeah, that's why I became a Miami Heat fan. I used to have a Tim Hardaway jersey and Alonzo Mourning jersey back in the day.
Kevin,
DJ
you're in Missouri,
Duvernay.
right?
Huh?
You're in Missouri, right?
Yeah, I'm on the Missouri side. I live in Smithville, Missouri. Not that anybody knows where that is unless you're from Kansas City. DJ Duvernay, Ayo. Merry Christmas, y'all. Merry Christmas, my guy. New here, but I got a flex question. Well, we got
Welcome.
you. PPR, Montgomery, or Hopkins, leaning Montgomery because of favorable bad weather. And McSorley has to throw for Arizona, and he blows. All accurate assessments. It's just, though, with Monty, he's a little bit tougher to trust. And now we have Khalil Herbert that's supposed to, did he?
That's the thing. Yes.
Yeah, I believe he did. That's why I knew he was trending towards playing. Khalil Herbert coming back puts a big wrench in the David Montgomery plan because he was already kind of hit or miss on opportunity and how much he was seeing the ball and how much he was touching the ball. He has been playing a lot of snaps since Khalil Herbert's been out, but the touches haven't been there. Like he has not exceeded 17 carries in a game this year. And so it's been 14, 14, 12. Justin Fields is getting a lot of carries as well. So it makes him a little bit more volatile. If he could score a touchdown, I think he's in play because he has scored 14 or more PPR points over the last 4 weeks, but a lot of that's due to touchdowns. Question is it Hopkins? Because Hopkins can also be really volatile because Trace McSorley sucks. And you said it. I agree. He's not good. And this could go really bad. And we're also talking about a really good Bucs defense. Their pass defense could easily shut this down. So I don't know. I think I would probably lean Monty on this one just because of projected volume.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the splits with with and without Khalil Herbert this year. So in games where both of them play, Montgomery averages 8.7 half PPR points per game, 12 carries, and has 36% of the rushing market share and 1.9 targets per game. That's been in 9 games. 4 games without Khalil Herbert just this year. That jumps up to 17 half PPR fantasy points per game. He only gets about like 2 more rush attempts per game, which is odd, but the market share jumps up to 46%. And he also sees 4 targets per game without Khalil Herbert. Not that the targets are necessarily going to matter in this game, but there is a big difference with and without Khalil Herbert in the mix. Having said that, I would still go Monty.
Yeah, I think he has a safer floor. You guys have no interest in Latavius Murray after his volume last week.
Nah.
It's also against the Rams, who it's not much of a great matchup either for him. I get it. 24 carries, 130 yards. That was against Arizona. This is a little bit different going up against the Rams. The Rams have actually been very good, and I'm not just going to buy into the 1 week of production that he had, because before this he was pretty terrible. If you just look over the last month, he has scored. Switch this to PPR. He has scored 17, 11, 10, 6, and 21. I mean, pretty bad to average at best. And so I'm not buying into the 1 week of production in a bad matchup. You get the Rams this week, who are very good still against the run. They're still top 5 in rush DVOA. I don't know. The game script could definitely be there for him, but I'm not buying it. I just think he probably have better options.
Not over Pacheco.
Yeah, TAM 2 QB league. I picked up Brady and Huntley off waivers. I don't know how Brady was available on waivers, but hey, good for you. So my opponent couldn't get them. He got upset, but he has Mahomes, and he had to pick up Russell Wilson. I'm sticking with Dak and Cousins. They got me here. Love it.
Yeah, I'd play both of them.
Yeah,
I think Brady is interesting in this game. With Byron Murphy out again, is big for the passing game in general, but I would stick with Dak and Cousins.
I agree.
Fuck that guy. Let him get upset. It's his fault for not picking him up.
Andrea, I just joined. Let's go.
go.
Happy to see you in there in the Discord. Ashton, Cody, you're a Pens fan, I'm assuming.
Correct.
I used to be obsessed with the NBA, but NFL took over for me 2018, 2019. I'm back in the NHL as well. The NBA is awesome. It's just super long. Same thing with Major League Baseball. It is too long. And it's like the best parts of it are the playoffs, stuff like that. NBA is not nearly as bad, I will say, as Major League Baseball is in terms of just being able to enjoy and watch a game, at a random regular season game. But the NBA still, I think the NBA playoffs. I love the NBA playoffs, especially once you start getting further along. But I just can't mess with the NHL. I just don't. Like, I've tried to. Everybody's like, "Oh, you got to watch it. You got to." Or if you go to a game, it's so much better in person, and the experience is awesome. You go to. I've been to a game before. I thought it was terrible. I was ready to go. Like, as soon as, like, I couldn't stand it. Like, I don't know. It's just you're just skating back and forth trying to shoot it. And I get it. I can see the allure of it, but like it just wasn't for me. I know people will say, "Like, you watch baseball." And I'm like,
I was just gonna say you can't talk shit on.
Yeah. That is America's
NHL.
pastime, okay? That is America's pastime. Hockey isn't.
Hockey's awesome. There's nothing better than
the only players I could ever name up from hockey, if someone would ask me, would be Wayne Gretzky, Alex Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby, and probably Jaromir Jagr and Brett Hull. Whatever reason, I can remember that name from I think I used to play a game back in the day with the Dallas Stars, and I remember. I guess Patrick Waugh too. That name comes to mind for some reason, but I think he was a goalie, or did he play for the Colorado Avalanche or something like that? Anyway, I'm not, but that's probably about it. That's probably about the names I could name on top of my head.
Yeah, I unfortunately haven't watched a ton outside of playoffs for the past couple of years, but yeah, when the Pens were on that run just a couple of years ago, that was a lot of fun.
CB, thank you guys. Merry Christmas to you, CB. I hope you're doing well. Hope you have a great Christmas. Let's get some dubs. Schultz or Hill? I'm going to go Schultz.
I think I would go away from Hill on this one.
Crystal, CVB. I need a kicker. Top 5 on waiver are Maher, Laughlin, Koo, Myers, and Gano.
I go Brett.
Yeah, I think I would agree too. In that game against indoors, we don't have to worry about weather and all this other shit that we're going to worry about. Excuse me. Ariana Grande, something I forgot what it's called. I will say there's a song right now, and it may not be new, but or maybe it is. Santa Tell Me. Is that the song you're talking about? There, DJ? I think that might be it. Anyways, by Elton John and Ed Sheeran. That's like super catchy. Like, I don't know. It's good. I like it. I've been hearing it recently, and it's good. Ho 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 by Sia. I
haven't heard that one.
He's a mean one, Mr. Grinch. There it is right there. Right around, I know you can't see because you can't see my mouse, but Cody is the Grinch. So that is all for him. Home Alone classic. Absolutely classic movie. There's no real debate for me when it comes to the best, like the number one spot. Are you more of Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2?
1. Is that even like an actual question?
Well, I mean, Home Alone 1, but I mean, I think Home Alone 2 is very good as well. Home Alone 2 is in my top 5 of Christmas movies for sure. Elf would be in there as well. Elf is excellent.
Yeah, Elf's a good one. Good call.
The original Santa Claus is really good.
With Tim the Toolman Taylor?
Yeah. The other ones, like as you progress through it, are terrible. But I will say, I watched there's on Disney Plus, there's a series that they did for that this year, and actually it wasn't bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. A lot of times when you get like remakes or stuff like that, they're terrible. It wasn't terrible. I'll say that. But that's really good. Christmas Story obviously will be starting here tomorrow, and it'll the marathon will start with a Christmas Story every year. It's iconic, but Christmas Vacation, I know everybody loves that one. Little John, All I Really Want for Christmas. There's a Little John Christmas song. Oh my god, I gotta listen.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start fact checking Crystal on this.
I would play it, but we would get hit with a copyright, and I don't want to do that. It really is. It really exists. Featuring Kool-Aid Man. All right. I'm going to have to add that. I'm going to have to listen to that once we get off here. I need to know what that sounds like. All right. Yeah, we're going to do that. Mr. Tress, half point PPR, Zach Moss or Deion Jackson? I'm going to go Deion Jackson.
I'm going to go Deion Jackson, too.
Crab Gravy, Santa Claus is Coming to Town by Bruce Springsteen. That's a really
good one. That's a good one, Crab.
Or Let It Be Christmas by Alan Jackson. That's also a very good one as well. You gotta try it out. We're gonna get hit with a copyright strike, and the whole thing's gonna get shut down. But that sounds hilarious.
Man, I'm getting put on to a bunch of Christmas songs.
Yeah. Minshew, Purdy, or Daniel Jones for Cubanito? Minshew for me.
Minshew. But I do like Daniel Jones. More so for DFS because he's cheap, but...
Yeah. Legendary, Smithville Lake. Yep, I live literally 3 minutes from Smithville Lake. I live right by it. Very close. Cubanito, Dallas or Tennessee defense? I'd go Tennessee.
Yeah.
Emmanuel, happy holidays to my family. Thank you guys for all you do, and your dedication to your craft is unmatched. Need a tight end, 12 team, half-point PPR, Njoku, Juwan Johnson. Fantasy. Oh, yeah, I was like, fantasy. Fant, if he plays, or Auden. I'm going to go...
Fant.
I think I would go Njoku here, but I do think Fant is probably where I would go second.
Yeah. Fant for me.
Yeah, to see the safer floor for this question, to be honest, because I likely had my boy Ingram go off. Let's go. And
let's go.
Guys, project from ETN, even though he had a ton of carries in PPR formats, he was pretty solid. I think he got 14 and a half because they actually utilized him a little bit more in the passing game, which was surprising. But so close. He almost got in the end zone as well. It was super close there. Headed to KC in a week or so. Hope it warms up. Next week, it's actually supposed to be almost 60, on Thursday. So I don't know when you're coming here, but it's supposed to be in the 40s or 50s. That's about as good as it's going to get for this time of year, but it's not bad either. I'm terrified about Herbert, hoping he's on a snap count. Oh, we're talking, okay. Khalil. I was like, Justin? But yeah. I doubt he's on a snap count. When these guys come back, if they're good enough to go, they're likely not going to be on any sort of snap count. But he's still the backup. I mean, he's not going to come in and just take over all the touches, but he's going to be a factor as well.
Yeah.
And really at times, especially
enough
early
to
in the
piss
year,
you off.
He looked like the better running back in this backfield for sure. At times earlier in the year, he was, through the first month and a half of the season, he was a top 12 running back. Khalil Herbert was. He was playing really well. So, Cubanito, full PPR, flex, or Rashad White, McLaurin, Watson, or AJ Dillon.
Rashad White for me.
I'm gonna go Terry McLaurin on this one. But I do
really?
yeah. But I do like Rashad White. DJ, again, appreciate the detail and your responses. We'll definitely tune in the future. Hopefully, it'll be week 17. Let's go, DJ. We are going on to, you're going to week 17.
We'll be here.
We'll see you next week. Okay. See you on. So we normally go on live on Wednesday nights, but this week we decided to do this because of the Christmas holidays, and then next weekend, I don't know. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. We're old. We can do New Year's Day because we're not. It's not like I'm not going out and getting drunk. I'm not as old as people think that I am. We just talked this the other night. People think I'm like in my 40s or 50s. I am 37. Sons of bitches. I'm not that old.
No, we will be here on New Year's morning.
Yeah, well, we'll be back next Sunday at our regularly scheduled programming times. Marcos, half point PPR, Waddle, McKinnon, Dobbins, Kenneth Walker, sit one.
Ooh,
that's tough. So I'm going to sit McKinnon. I'm not sitting Waddle. I'm not. If the question to me would come down to McKinnon or Dobbins, and I think I'm going to play Dobbins.
Yeah, I'm going to sit McKinnon.
Dylan, Cowboys or Broncos, D?
Broncos.
Yeah, I agree. PS1 NHL game was legit. I think 94, NHL 94. I think that was like on Sega. I think was awesome.
I feel like that's the NHL game that like everyone talks about.
Yeah. So, good job, Kev. Your trivia's on point. Let's go. Yeah. It is. I'm embarrassed about Ariana's voice. It's lovely in my ears. It's a good song. It is a good song. There's no hate here. Home Alone 2, New York is underrated. I agree. I love the OG though. It is the Home Alone 1 is definitely better, but I think Home Alone 2 is still really good. It's a lot of the same premise, a lot of the same type stuff, but it's still an excellent movie. JS full PPR for the championship. Njoku, Taysom, or Otten. Opponent starting Hawkinson.
Taysom.
Yeah, I think you go Taysom here. I hate sitting Njoku because he's been so good this year, but Taysom can get there in a lot of other ways. Touches on the ground, a lot of those types of things where you can't really say that for Njoku, and the weather just isn't great for that.
And Cleveland's run defense is dreadful.
Yeah. Lisa or Julia Ann?
I don't know Julia, and I'm not typing that into my my search history, so I'm just gonna go Lisa Ann.
That's what I thought. I was like, that has to be a porn. I just felt like it was, and it was. It certainly was.
All right, Kev, get it off the screen. Let's focus here, buddy. Back to the show. Kev just like, yep, it certainly is.
I didn't click on it. I did not click on anything. I just saw it. I felt like that's what it was.
You can't turn away though. Click out of it. Exit out.
Bookmark that for later.
I kind of figured. Obviously, Lisa Ann is the obvious one. Can't imagine we're putting Lisa Ann in with like a regular actress. You weren't getting me on that one, TX. Lisa Ann.
Bengals or Phillies? Yeah, I'm gonna go Bengals.
I would go Eagles, but fine with Bengals.
Simp. Broncos, Titans, or Chargers?
Broncos.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Nick Foles is starting for Indy, but it's not like the Chargers defense has been like great. Obviously, getting Derwin James back helps, but think that the Broncos defense has been really good this year, despite not getting any help from the other side of the ball. And we saw, Baker Mayfield turn back into a pumpkin last week. So, Broncos. Philly.
I'm going to go Titans on that one. What do you guys think about starting James Cook? Like, I think he's like, it would really depend on what other options you have. But Devin Singletary is still, getting touches in this backfield. And like, he's not like he's really been going away. If you look at the snap counts over the last 4 games, 78%, 48% against New England, but then back up to 50%, 63%. He's still involved in the passing game. He's involved on the ground. He feels like much more, maybe a little bit more preferred option for Buffalo. Still, I think he's an okay play, depending on what other else options you have, because maybe they do look to utilize a lot more of the short and intermediate passing type stuff, which really benefits somebody like James Cook. But it really depends on what the other options were. Gator fan really torn between Jahan Dotson, AJ Dillon, or Josh Palmer in full PPR. What do you guys think? I'm going to go with Jahan Dotson.
I'm going to go Palmer.
I don't hate it. Just Dotson has been so like I think he has a little bit clearer path, probably more likely the number 2 weapon in this offense. I know Curtis Samuel's still there, but and then AJ Dillon, like I would love to say AJ Dillon, but it's just not a good matchup. Miami's run defense has been really good. You throw against them, you don't run against them. So Tam, Chuck Berry, run, Rudolph, run. That's another really good one. Love that one as well.
That's a good one.
Seb, should I drop Bucker for another kicker? If I did, I think it would be for Dicker, the kicker.
Yeah. Yep.
Tua or Brady, or should I keep Slayton and Waddle as starters this week? I would go Tua.
And Baby Rock, who else do you have at wide receiver? I mean, I like Slayton, but I would think you have someone that we have ranked higher over Slayton this week. But I like the spot that he's in.
Yeah. This is where we're at. Richie James or Isaiah Hodgins?
I think at a half point, I would go Hodgins.
Yeah. It is a good spot if you're like looking for not I should say value because this is a DFS, but a kind of off the radar play. I think these are the good spots to go to because Minnesota has been dreadful against opposing wide receivers.
Really bad.
Tam, please pick 1 wide receiver 2 and 1 flex. Osborne, Van Jefferson, DBJ, or Connor. So Connor's going into the flex for me for sure. And then I think this is where I would actually go Osborne. I think I would go KJ.
Yep.
Gator fan. People say to go with your gut when you're choosing between several players. How do you just choose and not overthink it too much?
I answered this. I gave Gator my answer in the Discord DM, so I would like for you to go first.
I don't think generally speaking I would ever have like a several players to choose from. I can pretty much narrow it down to probably or 1 or 2 probably options here. And then I probably just lean towards who has the best matchup, right? And then probably also projectable volume. Just because a player has a great matchup, if they're not going to be utilized, obviously that's volume is king in fantasy football. And I think a lot of times people say like go with your gut. It's more of just like a feel thing, right? Like if you're really stuffed, like everything lines up between 2 players, and there's just something like that's kind of like that, like your gut feeling, whatever you want to call it, is telling you to go with that. Go with it because a lot of times it's right, but for the most part, I lean more on anything than matchup and volume, some projected volume for that player. And if it all lines up, then I just go with the matchup, whichever's matchup's in a better spot.
Yeah, I basically said like matchup is the only thing I care about. And then like if I'm down to like two or three people who like aren't in great matchups, then I'll start looking at things like volume, look at things, if there's like any injuries I need to be concerned about. And you can also look at like the Vegas point totals to see who's projected to be in like in a better game script. But if you just solely go off of, and obviously you're not going to go with a wide receiver 4 on a team that's going up against an awful pass defense versus, like a wide receiver 1, right? So like there are like limits to it, but in general, if you just focus on matchup, 98% of your start sit issues will be taken care of.
Yeah, and I think more so than just matchup is also the type of game environment we're looking at, right? So it's again very similar to what we look. So that's why when I talk about DFS and why I think people should like pay attention to more DFS. If you may not play DFS, you may not play DraftKings, you may not play FanDuel, you may just play your home league stuff like that. But listening to on a week to week basis, because you have to look at fantasy football like on a week to week basis, because it's a week to week game, right? And so for that week, when you're setting your lineup, like that's why listening to DFS I think really helps because it gives you a lot of ideas of like how people think because then it comes into game theory stuff, right? Like if I could play a game where maybe a team's playing a very slow paced bad team, but I would rather play if I could play two offenses that project for a high scoring game. I want that environment over a game where maybe it's the Bills versus the Texans or something like that, right? Where the it did offenses aren't forced to open up, so you're looking for that game that can go nuclear, right? Like last week, the Vikings and the Colts game, right? It was a little bit different. Let's not maybe the best example because it was kind of wonky on the Colts side, but for the most part, that the score went off, and so KJ Osborne got brought along because of how great the matchup was and everything there, and because of the game script there, and they had to throw the ball a lot. And so when I'm looking at plays like that or who I'm going to play, that's how I would base it. If I have a team or a player that is in a great spot, a great game environment, great total score, and all that stuff, versus another player who may be in a terrible environment, who may be a good matchup, but still a terrible environment. The volume's probably not going to be there. Low scoring, like then I'm going to go with the other guy just because it's much easier to get that guy across and get that guy there. So game script plays a big part of it. I know that's pretty in depth, but that's kind of the best way to look at it. And again, that's why I always say, find a DFS show that you like that goes game by game and listen to it. Because I'm not saying you're not going to play DFS, but DFS people are going to dig far more into stuff than what your normal like redraft show or YouTube channel or whatever you are ever going to, because they're just going to have their rankings and they probably don't have a whole lot of basing of why they're going with whatever player that they're going with. And I'm not trying to knock people, but that's just generally how it goes. Versus a DFS guy who can tell you the slot corner that he's going to be facing for that game, or and stuff like just little nuances of stuff. Because I'm a DFS player and we just dig into the dumbest stuff sometimes, and so like we have all this information, and we put it all that out there, and so you just get more out of it, in my opinion, more actionable information, because we're just solely focused on that 1 week. We're not focused on everything else and weeks on out from there. So again, that's probably way too long. So, but that's the way I would look at it. TX, Dak or the Massage Man? I'm gonna go with Dak.
Stack.
Baby Rock. I also have wide receiver as Goodwin, MBS, and Boyd. I would go Goodwin there.
Yeah, I would go Waddle and Goodwin.
Yeah. Thanks again for the help. Full point PPR. George Pickens, Gabe Davis, or Jahan Dotson. I'm gonna sit Gabe Davis. Super volatile, really bad game environment with this weather. If he thrives, if he hits, it's going to be on the deep ball. And I just don't see that happening. Now, sure, they could maybe hit him on a slant and he takes to the house, something. All those things are range of possibility stuff, but I just can't. Like, he is too volatile. The other two options are better in better spots. So, go Pickens and Jahan Dotson. Vote. Start one at the flex. Ayuk, Rashad White, Osborne, Pacheco, standard PPR. I'm going to go Pacheco here.
Yeah, Pacheco for me as well.
A.J. Dillon or Deion Jackson? I'm going to go A.J. Dillon here. I know it's not a good match. We just talked about that, but at least with him, like, he could fall into the end zone a couple times, score a touchdown.
Golly. I wish this wasn't full point. Because if it were half PPR, I'd be with you with A.J. Dillon. Oh, golly. I'm going to go with Deion Jackson. Like we were talking about earlier, the Chargers aren't good against the run just in general, so I wouldn't expect the same kind of touch split that we saw last week and the same kind of snap split that we saw between Deion Jackson and Zach Moss. And, if we're expecting the Vikings to not, the Colts to not jump out to a 33-point lead again, I think we see Deion Jackson a little bit more involved in the passing game as well. And considering this is full point, I'm going to go Deion Jackson. And maybe I'm wrong, but it just feels like A.J. Dillon has not been good this year.
Well, he was very good, I believe, last week. He was very good.
What, 2 touchdowns last week, right?
He's actually been very good the last 3 weeks. I take that back. 17.8 week 12, 20.9 week 13, and week 15 he scored 22.1. So the last 3 games he's been really good. And a lot of it has been touchdown volume. He scored 4 touchdowns over the last 3 games, scored a touchdown in all of them. So carries. He actually played 67% of the snaps, but he's still, for the most part, he's played about 40% of the snaps this year. He's somewhat involved in the passing game as well. He has 3 receptions over the past 3 games as well. So he's just kind of really been involved in the offense and has been scoring some touchdowns. So I get the question.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Here's the last thing for this particular choice. Here's the tough thing for me. Josh Palmer is likely the 3rd or 4th option. A.J. Dillon has been very consistent. Jahan Dotson is playing San Francisco, who is pretty darn good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really considering Dotson in that matchup. And he's been Dotson. If Dotson doesn't find, sorry, thought I heard my kid waking up. If Dotson doesn't find the end zone, it's like he's been putting up a ton of yards in his game. And I think the feather in Palmer's cap is I would expect Mike Williams to see a lot of Stephon Gilmore, which could potentially open up things for Palmer. Like, he's still going to be like the 3rd or 4th option, right? Because he's still going to be behind Eckler and Keenan Allen. So he's like probably the 3rd option at best. But I do think that is in his favor. It's not a good matchup for A.J. Dillon. He's been inconsistent. Dotson has an awful matchup. So that's why I'm going Palmer.
Yeah, Dotson has been really boom or bust in terms of production. And a lot of it is because of touchdown. He's a 24% touchdown rate, which is ridiculous. Scored 6 touchdowns on the year, which he's actually 14th among all wide receivers in touchdowns, despite only playing in 9 games this year. He has put up pretty good production over the last 2 games as well. 16.4 and 20.5. But again, like you mentioned, 5 catches, 44 yards, and a score. And then last week, 4 catches, 105 yards, and a score. So, yeah, I would probably go Jahan Dawson, but I don't hate it. I think probably Josh Palmer is probably the safer option of the group. I'm thinking Pacheco as well. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Let's go.
1984. Hey guys, how y'all doing? Doing well. Got some big plans tomorrow. Watch some football, going to some family, eating some ham. You know what the honey baked ham company from the Honey Baked Ham Company is elite. Elite. It is. Need one for the flex. Halfway PPR. Jamal Williams, Adam Thielen, Marquise Goodwin, or Deion Jackson. Happy holidays. I'm going to go with Goodwin here.
Yeah, I think that's the play.
Tam, full PPR. Please pick one. Christian Watson, Noah Brown, Kenneth Walker, Pollard, or Connor. You can only pick one. I got to go Pollard.
I'm going to go Walker. Pollard would be second.
Ooh. It's been so good seeing Tony Pollard ball this year. And of course, it just happens so that Robbie just bails on us. Like, he gets too busy right at the time that Tony Pollard just starts going nuclear. He just ham every week, Typical Robbie. You need to reach out to Robbie and tell him Merry Christmas.
You want me to remind you?
I'll probably forget. Brian, help! What's up, Brian? Pick 2 wide receivers at a flex and a full PPR. Juju, Devonta Smith, Judy, Mike Evans. Could flex in Latavius Murray. We're not going to do that.
We're not doing that.
And so pick 2 wide receivers. And we got
Juju and Evans. So I guess we're going to sit one.
Yeah, I would sit Judy.
I'm going to sit Judy.
Tam, off to do Christmas stuff. Good luck with your fantasy football tomorrow. Good luck with your fantasy football tomorrow, Tam. What are you doing?
Merry
You gonna wrap
Christmas,
some
Tam.
presents? Are we baking some cookies for Santa? Are we watch some Christmas movies? Hot chocolate? Whatever. What is you doing? Are you going to Christmas caroling? Do people do that? We were talking about that today at work. Like, we talk about people joke around about Christmas caroling all the time. But does people actually still go Christmas caroling?
I've never actually seen it.
I've seen it in movies, like Christmas with the Cranks. I remember like they come over and like people are singing, and some other movies like where people go caroling. But maybe that was like an old time thing that like people used to do back in the day. Maybe people don't do it anymore, or maybe like churches do it at certain places or something. I don't know. Love ham. Yep. Let's go. You're welcome here anytime. Sam, should I trust Swift for RB3? Have CMC, McKinnon, and Jamal on my bench? Yes. I would trust Swift.
Yeah, Swift over Jamal.
PPR. GOAT manager. Higgins or Kamara? I'm going to go Kamara.
God, he's been so disappointing. Obviously volume is in Kamara's favor for sure, right? Like, he should see 15 touches as a floor, right? Like, obviously Higgins isn't going to see that. But I think I would go Kamara. But golly, that scares me.
Tam, making candy and rapping. I love back instead of rapping. Listen, I am the stone cold worst rapper. Like, it looks like a 2-year-old rapped it whenever I rap it, and I really try, but like, I'm like, This is not my thing. Like trying to like get all like precise. People will sit there and like feel like they get like a ruler and a protractor out and they're trying to like measure the angles and like, hey, does everything comes together perfect? Not me. Like usually like the underside of the wrapping paper, the white part of it or whatever is still showing and it just looks terrible. Like so I 100% agree. Bags are probably the way to go. Like I am terrible rapper. I cannot rap to save my life. I don't know about you. I don't know if you're a great
Mm-mm.
rapper. I cannot. I loathe it every year. So I wish I
I
could
feel
like
like
my thumb.
I had like one good Christmas of present wrapping, like where I thought I was getting it. It's like, you know what? Like this doesn't look that bad. Like here we go.
Was
And
that your
then
prime, your present rapping
yeah,
prime when you ran?
I peaked early.
Yeah, I'm absolutely dreadful at it. So mint candy too. Hey, sounds delicious. So, yeah, Chiefsaholic. Yes, I've heard about this. Yes. What a moron.
Wild.
Like I obviously just like robbing anything is obviously is heavily frowned upon and you shouldn't do it. But like robbing a bank. Well, we were just talking about it today. Like we were talking about this at work today because like we were super dead at work today. Like because it's the day before the Christmas weekend, nobody's working. Okay, that's 2023 problems, you know. So like we were talking about that today at work, and it was like of all the things you could do, like you decide to rob a bank, like the chances of you getting away with a bank robbery, I feel like is extremely low. Like with all the technology and everything else, like you're not getting away with a bank robbery. And I honestly think he probably because I know he was like a degenerate gambler. Have you heard about this story?
Yeah, and apparently he robbed a bank like almost every time he went to an away game.
Oh, I didn't realize this was that he did it all the time. I heard that there
Yeah,
was
I
like
think yeah, I
possibility
think it
of
was
it.
I think it was that like they ended up finding out that that's how he was like able to go to every single like Chiefs away game as well, as he was robbing banks and then like laundering his money through gambling.
Oh, that's even better. I guess I have to look into it. Because I followed it from the part where it got picked up because Chiefs Twitter was all over it. Like was just having a field day with this dude because this guy dressed up as a wolf and was just an idiot. Like I don't know why like all the Chiefs super fans have to be idiots because he had X Factor earlier in the year where he got knocked out by somebody because there was all drama with that. But then we got this guy Robin Banks. So maybe I should take it back. I mean, if he's been successful at it of Robin, which I guess it does make sense when you think about it because like if you're out of town, it's not like you're just in and out, you're leaving, boom, you're gone, you're never gonna come back to that place. But it's still like you're playing with fire. Like the dumbass, he bet on the Chiefs. He dropped 80 grand on the Chiefs to beat the Bills. Lost that. Like, yeah. I mean, now he's
Yikes.
gonna go to prison for 10 years. I've been first all season. I feel like I might lose the first game of the playoffs. It's this is why that I like. And I know that I guess this is probably the funnest part of fantasy football, but I always feel like there has to be a better way with the fantasy playoffs than what the like just the one and you're done and you're out. Because like I have seen this happen so many times where the best team in the league loses in the first round of the playoffs. And I know, I guess people will say, "Well, it's just like the NFL playoffs," whatever. Like I get it. Like anybody could lose at any time, but it just like it feels like you did all this work all year and you crushed it all year and you were the highest point scorer and you had that best record and all this stuff, and then you just lose the first week of the playoffs just because your team had one bad game. That's why I always feel like we should like expand it. Like it should be 2 weeks at a time. That way, it's a little bit more. You know, there's a little bit more strategy involved too. But
I also like the idea of like when you get to the playoffs, it's not head to head. It's kind of just points. Like you eliminate like the bottom two teams the first week. You know what I mean? You kind of go at it that way.
I like that. That's good. It's a little bit better. Maybe a little bit more opportunity there.
Yeah.
Gator, should be worried about either Nick Chubb or James Conner this week. The Chubb has not been doing much lately, and I'm afraid the box will be loaded against Conner because Arizona is on their third quarterback. We talk about that like it's not something that's like a huge deal. Like it's just for the most part. He's also involved as a pass catcher as well for James Conner. So like he wasn't in necessarily a great matchup either last week, and he still came through. Like I think he's fine. Volume is going to be there. He's got to play like 90% of the snaps, all that kind of stuff. And so And then from there, like Chubb, he's fine. Like, I mean, Chubb is one of the best running backs in the league. He can go off at any time. It's not a bad matchup, like I said, against the Saints. The Saints, I think, over the last 4 games, are like 29th in rush DVOA. So it's still a pretty good spot. GOAT manager
Vita Vea will also be out for Tampa Bay, which helps.
Is a big blow to that.
I wasn't talking about like right now. Go.
Huh?
We like whenever we were talking about it, we weren't talking about like right now. Like there's been warmer Christmases. I just mean like I've literally never seen a group of people doing it.
Doing what?
Caroling.
Did I miss something?
The comment that you're on right now, whenever we were talking about like we've never seen it outside of the movie.
Oh, I haven't even read the comment yet. I was like, what are you talking about? No, I see it. Come on, you think people are going to be Christmas caroling in 0-degree weather? Yeah, but I mean, it happens usually like Christmas season, right? Like after Thanksgiving, all that stuff. Like that's when you start to see the stuff. I don't ever see people Christmas carol. Have you? Have you go?
No.
I don't think it exists. Live Christian tight end slot go with Waller, Conquo, or risk Taysom for QB upside. Bad weather game.
Taysom.
I would go Waller, but I get it. If you want to go Taysom, it makes sense because of everything we've kind of talked about already with that. So, honey baked ham is fuego. Yes, it is. That crispy sugar coat. Have you ever had a honey baked ham from Honey Baked Ham Company?
I don't think so.
Bro, I need to know. Where are you at? You're in North Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
If there's any there.
Yeah, I'm assuming there was one in Charlotte. While you're doing the important thing,
It says Asheville, Burlington, Fayetteville, Greensboro, Greenville, High Point, Mooresville, Salisbury, Wilmington, and Winston.
I'm close to Salisbury.
You have to try it. If you've never had it, you are missing out. Delicious. Sydney, what do you think of Amari Cooper this week? I'm probably not going to play him just based solely off of just this weather. Look at, like, if you, again, it kind of comes down to, like I said, like, I think sometimes we do somewhat overvalue weather, and I get it because we will overreact to it. But if I could not play him and get away with it, I would. I moved him down in my rankings. He is now, where do I put him? I think I put him at like a low end wide receiver 3. He doesn't have the same type of ceiling as he did before. Yes, I have him at wide receiver 34 is where I have him currently.
Yeah.
So normally he was up at like wide receiver 17 or 18 prior. Now I have him all the way down as like a very low wide receiver 3.
And because of where he was drafted, you likely have at least a comparable option.
Yeah, I think I would. I think yeah. There's just, it's just like a lot of the data shows that once it gets over 20 mile an hour sustained winds, quarterback production drops off dramatically. Yeah, he's supposed to rob multiple banks, and there is a screenshot of him robbing a bank in the same wolf mask that he wears to games. So this, if you're talking about the one that recently, I don't think that's accurate. That was one, I think someone I had heard that was actually not him. That was actually another bank robbery that happened somewhere in Kansas, like 4 or 5 years ago. Unless there's a different one, but the one that I think you're referring to that everybody has been showing, that was actually not him. It was just from somebody else. I think somebody found it, and added it to that. But yes, I did see that. Ashton, everyone have a good weekend. You have a good weekend too, Ashton. Let's crush it. Arthur Bryant's the one on Brooklyn. Yes, that one is good. That is the original. But my favorite barbecue in Kansas City is either Casey Joe's, the one in the gas station, or now it's sad because there was one up in Liberty. jousting pigs, but they moved. So now there's one in the Legends over by the racetrack. That place is phenomenal. Phenomenal barbecue. I went Christmas caroling at a local hospital when I was in kindergarten. That's the only time I've seen people Christmas caroling. Goat Manager, I don't know how old you are, but let's just guess that was, a decent amount of time ago. And so, like, I don't see people Christmas caroling anymore. Like, I don't think that's a thing anymore, like, that people do, right? And like I said, that's why I assumed that if it did, it probably happened with, like, churches. Right?
Yeah.
So, that being said, I think that is all the questions. I appreciate everybody rocking with us again tonight. It's been a lot of fun. This is my favorite thing to do every single week. Whenever we do this stuff, is coming on and talking with you guys. It is sad that the season is coming to a close, but we are still at the best part of the year. The fantasy playoffs, because this is what we play for, right? You play to win the game. Let's do it, Joe. Joe, let's bring it back. Let's bring caroling back next year. We'll just all just go out in our own local towns and we'll start caroling. Back when kids played in the street. Yeah. That's things used to be a lot different. Like the things that I can vividly remember doing as a kid, you'd go to jail if you did it now. Like riding in the back of a truck. You can't do that anymore. You get pulled over. Like I used to ride in the back of I was 8, riding in the back of the truck going to the store or something like that.
Yeah.
Can't do that anymore.
Can't.
Shame. Anyways, let's get out of here. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Let's enjoy Christmas. Let's get some dubs. We'll be back very early next week. Wednesday we'll go live again, but we'll also have our rankings videos out early next week for championship week, boys and girls. We're here. Let's get them dubs this week. We'll be right back again next week. Merry Christmas. Stay safe. We'll see you soon. Let's win that money. We'll see you at the top.